Hi friends, welcome to my channel. This is Vijay here. Today we are going to see the part 2 of Butterfly Pavilion remodeling. So this pavilion designed by Tree Deluxe Architects. So I'm just remodeling just for education purpose. If you are not watched the part 1 part, so please check it. I given the link in the description. Please check it. So let's jump into the tutorial. uh, Friends, here what I'm doing the rear portion. So first I'm tracing the profile um, by creating the symbol plane, and in the plane only I'm creating the using symbol arc tool. I'm making the approx profile of based on the image. So I'm making a component. So here I'm going to use shape blender tool. So and just trace the line from the plan. So based on that I'm just bending the shape as per the plan. So the shape is ready. Now I'm going to create a quad faces here. Going to create the measures inside. So first I'm exploding the face. Now I'm going to create four different edges. So first I'm welding all the bottom edge by using JHS Powerball welding tool. Then I'm converting into equally into using BZ toolbar polyline segmented. Same process I'm doing for upper edge also, and right side and left and edge also. So these edges I'm following based on the image. So based on how many division you require, you need to divide the segments. So now I'm using Pavilion skinning tool to skin all the edges. So for Pavilion skinning tool, you need to select 4 edges and you need to select the thing. So it will skin the surface. So the surface is ready. Now I'm going to use Flowify plugin. So I'm creating the floor pattern. So I'm going to Flowify along the surface. So first we need to create I took the surface from that, and I'm making the separate group. Now I made the planar surface that as a separate group, and then the projection line as a separate group. So these three together I'm making a single group. Now I'm going to place our geometry above the planar surface. So we have to check the projection line has to be very important. It has to place exactly in the corner. Means any one side, maybe right hand or left hand side, the edges need to connect properly. Otherwise, difficult to make it. So here I use the Flowify Emboss Grid option. So now the same quad surface is placed in the planar surface. So here I'm taking the geometry from which I made earlier. So the same geometry I'm placing above the planar surface. So I'm deleting I'm adjusting in the planar surface exactly. Now I'm deleting the remaining areas. Here I'm speed up in this process. So I'm just simply using scale tool to fit exactly in the planar surface. So I'm fitting the edges all around the area. So this is very important. So because if it's not fit, so the edges will not be cover the flowy field will not cover the entire required surface. So now I click the flowified. So the surface is placed all around the geometry is placed along the surface. Now here the same framework I am making here. So the framework which already made, I am taking that same framework. So I'm copying this framework. Maybe I'm just simply copying only one panel. So here I'm copying this single panel. So I'm making as a component. So this framework I'm placing exactly in the one pedal size. So using simply scale tool to adjust as per the pedal size. Why I'm making component, because it can be easily edited later stage. Here I'm copying this same component to fill the projection surface area. So I'm using simply a move tool, pressing control key, so to multiply the copy thing. So I am pressing simply numbers plus x value, so it will multiply the copy thing. So here I am making the same process for the vertical also. Okay, now framework is done. So I'm exploding all the component and making as a single group. So I'm placing this framework behind the planar surface, because the pedal will come front and the framework will come behind. So I'm placing accordingly. Here I'm going to use Flowify plugin. For using Flowify plugin, the same the single group we need to select, which have contains 3 groups, and then I'm selecting the geometry also. So then I'm clicking the Flowify plugin, so it will Flowify along the surface. Now I'm placing the right location as per the plan. Now I am simply changing the color. So now we are going to make the remaining area. So first I'm tracing the other surfaces which I already made here. So I'm just copying the same surfaces which I made already earlier. So I'm hiding the rest of the elements in the model, so we can get the remaining edges easily. So these edges I am making as per the view. Here I am tracing the remaining edges also. So I am just using simply arc tool. So I'm hiding all the elements also, so you can get the right edge which I already made in the previous video. So before working based on these edges, I made the surface. So this edge only I'm tracing again. So I'm deleting the remaining unnecessary lines which I already made. Here I am tracing the remaining edges. by using simply arc tool. So I'm speed upping this process. Here I'm copying these all the lines separately. So I'm just simply double clicking the lines, so the entire line will be selected easily. So I'm copying separately, so we can delete the unnecessary lines. So I'm again simply clicking double click, so it will delete the remaining edges easily. Here I'm going to make the surface now. So I'm using a skinning tool, Pavilion skinning tool. So here first I'm going to divide the edges equally, top, bottom and right and left side edges. So again I'm dividing all the edges equally. So based on how many numbers required, so based on I am using BZ toolbar dividing tool, polyline segmented tool. So I'm just dividing the lines equally. So I'm dividing all the edges. So maximum the right side. So I'm using if it's the line is going outer, so I'm just picking simple lines to divide the to segregate lines easily. So here I'm just making simple lines, so I'm dividing a same process. So I'm dividing top and bottom edges also. Here I'm using Pavilion skinning tool. So I'm selecting all the 4 edges. Now the surface is ready. So I'm going to make the pattern above the surface. So I'm making the planar surface. So I'm making as a separate group, and then I'm making the projections lines. So the projection lines also in a separate group. So I'm using Flowify emboss grid. So all the quad grids we can get in the projection plane. So the quad grid we got in the projection plane. Now we are going to place the jali pattern above the projection plane. Here I am adjusting the scale, the jali scale according to the projection plane. So we'll get the pattern flow along all around the surface. So I'm using simply scale tool to cover up the entire area. So here totally 10 grids you can see in the overall thing. So I'm making total 10 number of pattern. So I'm copying again. So this whole components I'm exploding, I'm making as a separate group. Now I'm going to make I'm going to flowify this pattern all along the surface. Now the surface placed along the geometry is placed along the surface. Now I am going to place the framework also. I'm copying the single framework. I'm placing as a separate component, so I'm adjusting the scale according to each grids. So this I'm using simply scale tool to I'm adjusting the scale according to each grid. So then I'm going to multiply, I'm going to copy by using move tool. If you press Ctrl key, it will copy the component. So I'm using number value, how many numbers you require, plus x. So you need to type. So the total numbers it will array along the surface. Each framework has to be placed exactly in the each grid, so that is very important. So now I'm scaling the all components according to the framework. So each grid is placed exactly where I want. Now I'm going to explode all the component and making as a separate group. Here I am using join push pull tool to extrude the all the surface. Because general push pull work on single surface, join push pull will work for the multiple surface. Now it's done. So the entire multiple faces extruded. Here I can do these changes in one component also in the other way instead of this, but if it's forgot I can do this way also. So now the framework is ready. I am using Flowify plugin. So this will Flowify all along the surface. Okay, now I'm going to place in the actual location. So I'm going to unhide all the previous elements which are hiding. So I'm placing in the location. Here this surface I'm making smoothen tool. The unnecessary lines can be removed easily. Simply select the geometry and right click soft and smoothen tool. Now it's done. So now I'm going to make the remaining curvicle area which is coming in the end. So here also I'm using the same process. I'm just making simple curve and making some surface, and then I'm going to flowify the pattern above the surface. Here I'm tracing the outline from the model. So I'm just dividing the lines by using BZ toolbar body length terminator tool. So I'm making the outer edge of the curve also. So I'm just using simple arc tool and dividing the lines by using VZ toolbar, polyline segment tool. So I'm connecting simple line tool, connecting this both the edges. You can use arc tool also. Then the arc tool I am going to divide into equal segments by using polyline segment, same process. So the thing is, right and left side has to be equal and the top and bottom has to be equal. Then we will get a right clear grid. Otherwise, the grid may be mismatched. So that is important thing. So now I'm going to make the use the skinning tool, Pavilion skinning tool. Simply click all the four edges and click the skinning tool. So let's skin the surface. Now the surface is ready. So okay, I'm going to make the planar surface. I'll place the geometry above the planar surface. Means the jali pattern above the planar surface. Making the planar surface as a separate group, and then the projection line as a separate group. The same process which I did earlier. So this you just need to connect properly, otherwise it will be difficult to make the flowify. So now these three together I am making separate group. Then I am using Curveloft Flowify Impose Grid option. So the grid placed above the planar surface. And just simply copying this pattern and placing above the planar surface. So this is a component, it can be easily to edit and modify. That's right. So I'm adjusting the scale according to the planar surface. Remaining area I'm simply deleting. This I'm going to flowify the geometry along both the surface. Before that, we need to explode as make it as a separate group. So I'm applying the color also. So I'm using Flowify plugin. similar way I'm placing the framework also. So I'm speed upping this process. Here I use the flow effect plugin, but some of the surface is created and we can delete the surface easily. So the thing is, the scaling is very important. The planar surface when you place, it has to place above the edge, exactly in the edge of the planar surface. So now I'm deleting the surface because the geometry is projected above the planar surface. Now we're going to make the outer tube frame. Here I am placing the internal block also. So now I'm going to make the tubular thing from the surface which I made earlier. So I'm just exploding the surface. Now I'm taking only the outer line of the surface. So by using JHS Powerball line to tube converter, we can convert all this line to be a tube. Line to cylinder, sorry. So I am simply selecting all the lines and I am going to convert all the lines to be tubes. Double click, simply click the line to tube icon. So last one diameter, you can switch the diameter. So I'm going to simply place above the right location. So I'm placing in the right location. That's it, friends. This is done. And if you're watching new time this channel, please do subscribe and like and share the video to your friends and families. Thanks for watching. Soon I'll come with some other tutorial. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.